Welcome to another episode, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, of Basic Japanese for people as lazy as me. This is episode 3. We got the ma, ya, la, wa, and n rows. Here we go. Alright, so let's get back down to work on the last of these things. We have, before we've done, those previous 6, so we're going to do the last 4 rows, only 2 of which are actually full rows. And then the last, nasalized consonant today. So here we have ma, mi, mu, me, and mo. In the Y column, only ya, you, and yo exist. A long time ago there used to be a yi and a ye, but they aren't around anymore because we don't use them. Next is da, li, du, de, and do. And finally wa. Wa is the only one in that category because they don't have the wee, woo, we, or wo. And then the nasalized consonant n. Let's get to work. Alright, let's start with this M column here. The M column is relatively easy, though some of them are going to look similar to each other. So let's start with ma. Ma starts with 1 horizontal stroke, like a lot of stuff. Then 2 horizontal strokes. And the last bit is just kind of like how we had ho before, like this thing. It's going to be kind of similar. It's just instead of starting here, you start above it, and you go ma. Right? So written quickly, ma. Right? Moving on. Mi. Mi has 2 strokes technically, but we'll go for 3. First stroke is a sort of curvy up thing. Next one, bring that all the way down and curl it around. So it's like a tilted broken 2, I guess. Third is a line there. So now it looks kind of like if you took a 2 and a 4 and put them together. Anyone who has played the old PC point and click game Darkfall the Journal might recognize it in this thing. But then again, now I'm showing my old nerd here. Anyway, so written quickly, it's like this. Mi. Mu is probably the one that takes the longest to write of all of these. First, one like that. Second, you're going to take this one and make a spiral that curves around and up. Finally, just a little dash. Kind of looks like someone who's chewing gum and has a black eye or something, I don't know. Anyway, mu. Easy. Yeah. So let's see about me. Me you use in words like dame a lot, so you'll see it quite often. Me here in Hiragana is going to look kind of similar to the me in katakana, but then a lot of katakana look similar to each other anyway. So let's get this started. Me's first stroke is a downward diagonal thing. It's like the opposite of the first stroke of mi. The second one is, you remember no, right? Like a spiral kind of thing. Just take that and put it on top of this thing. Me. If you remember from before when we did nu looks very similar, doesn't it? Be careful not to confuse these two, because they're super easy to confuse. So, first stroke, second stroke. Done quickly, something like that. Finally, mo. Mo and ma actually look relatively similar. Mo starts first stroke, second stroke, and then third stroke. Instead of going around and out like that, we're just going to go like that. Mo. Mo. So we've got ma, mi, mu, me, and mo. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the Y row. The Y row is going to be interesting because it's the first row that doesn't have all of the characters in it. There is a ya, a you, and a yo, but there is no yi and there is no ye. Technically, historically, yes there is, but they have not been used for like 100 years or something like that. There are no words in modern Japanese that use them. You can try to write them, but people will be like, oh, it's that old letter. It's like the equivalent of if you were writing something in English and you used stuff like that hasn't been used since, you know, the Victorian era or before. So don't worry about those. So, yi and ye, not going to be there. So let's look at ya. I don't know if the way that I write this is the correct stroke order or not, but it's the way that I write it and people can read it. So, first stroke is like a hook, right? Make sure that this hook bit here is important there. Hook, line. So it's like a scythe-looking kind of thing, really. And then the last one, hook, line, tab. This little tiny dot thing has got to be there because it's super important, otherwise it's not the right, like, character. So, hook, line, tab. Ya. You is kind of similar to some of the others that we've seen. First stroke is going to come down like that. That stroke continues over like this. So you've got what appears to be a sort of tilted over lowercase n. And then the last bit is a vertical line coming through it. You. Some people will write it so that it curves way the hell back over like that and then does this thing. That's also okay. I'm doing it by handwriting. My handwriting is a little bit messy, but that's, people can read it and it's fine. So you. Easy stuff. Yeah, of course, doesn't exist anymore, so let's move straight to yo. Yo's first stroke is a horizontal line. It's not a long horizontal line. This one is only like, if you have your, like, this is your box that you're supposed to write stuff in, right? It starts about here and goes over that far. Then it goes, well, the rest of it, and I'll show you in a sec. So, first stroke. Second stroke. That's not right. Screwed that one up, sorry. First stroke. Second stroke connects to this side. Down like this, and over. Yo. Easy. So you've got ya, you, and yo. Good stuff. Alright, let's go on to the R column. It's not really, like the R column isn't an R column, it's like a mixture between the R sound and the D sound in English. So instead of saying ra, re, ru, re, and ro, you're doing like a little tongue flick kind of thing. So it's not ra, it's da, di, du, de, and do. It's almost a D sound, honestly. You'll get it if you practice a whole lot. We'll have some, like, pronunciation practice stuff in this channel as well. But it's da, di, du, de, do. Please do not say la, li, lu, lay, and lo, like with an L, because that gets you laughed at. And it's not correct. If you must make a different sound that's not the, like, proper Japanese one, then use, like, a sort of stunted D. Da, di, du, de, do. So let's look at da. Da's first stroke is like a little diagonal kind of 10. Second stroke is the bottom half of a 5. And that's the whole thing, that's da. Some people will write it this way, that's also okay. I prefer to write it like that. You'll also kind of see it like this sometimes. Which basically, I swear, looks like a 5. Essentially, if it looks vaguely 5-ish, it's probably not. Next up is D. D is a 2-stroke. First stroke is a short, like, vertical stroke. The second stroke is a longer, curved stroke. And that's D. You will see it in, like, calligraphy style doing this kind of thing. Because, again, like, that's how it looks with the brush and all of that. but honestly, is good enough. So done quickly, D. You're going to have a lot of trouble with D and some of the katakana because the katakana is stupid and everything looks similar, but for now this will do. D. Do has, well, I mean, you'll probably have seen stuff like it before, like when we did ne. Ne, which looks like this one, remember. Do is literally just ne without that line there. So, first stroke. Second stroke is that stroke which continues downwards. Third stroke is that stroke which then comes around like that. So it's a curly 3. Do. Alright, moving on to le. Le is like a... well, I mean, it kind of looks like a little bit like do and a couple of the other ones that we've already seen so far. Let's take a look at it. First one is a vertical line. Second one, vertical line, broken 7 thing through it, right? Third one comes around and makes like a tail. So like you remember so, right? So, which is written like that. It's that with a line through it. You tilt it a little bit, stick a line through it, and it becomes that. And that's there for you. Okay. Do is probably the easy, well, I guess D is kind of the easiest, but Do is the easiest because it's only really one stroke. Do is first stroke. Ready? First stroke is that thing. Comes down like this, and then the last bit is it comes around. It is a 3, I swear. Do. So, da, di, do, de, and do. Let's move on. Alright, let's look at that W column. W column has only one in it the entire time. It's only got wa. There isn't a we, a way, or a wo. Again, historically, a long time ago, there were those because it was based off of Chinese and all of that. But now, Japanese, modern Japanese doesn't have any of those things. If you're a Toho fan, then you'll know that there's a we somewhere if you've got that character Tewi. But in Japanese, she's actually pronounced Tei, because the we, the woo, the way, and the wo just get replaced by those specific vowel sounds. So it's Tei instead of Tewi. I mean, I suppose you could write the we, but again, like, it's a thing that nobody uses anymore, and if you write it, you'll get laughed at because people will be like, wow, you studied archaic crap, where did you learn that Rurouni Kenshin? Anyway, so let's look at wa. I'm going to draw it down here because all those other ones don't really exist. So wa, right? First, that vertical stroke, very much like ne and de that we've already looked at. Second one, 7 through it. And the third one makes a big curve on the side. You're taking no from before and putting a line through it. So this shape is relatively complicated because you've got things like de, ne, wa, and then so, do, and no. All of these look relatively similar. So those ones are going to have to be something that you'll practice a lot. Anyway, so that's wa. Done quickly. Well, that's crap. There we go. And that's wa. Nasalized consonant time. You know how they've got in French, like at the end of words, like profond and all of that, where it's got like an NT or something like that. You don't actually pronounce it, but you sort of like make that weird sound in the back of your throat that comes out of your nose. Or like, I can't think of a good example of it in English, but it's called a nasalized consonant. It's like the N sound when we go It's not it's like an N. And that's the sound that we have a whole lot. For instance, that word I said earlier, ramen. You know, ramen, as they'd say it in English, because they're losers. Ramen ends in that nasalized consonant. The nasalized consonant is romanized as the letter N, but that's not technically correct. It's the best we're going to get, though. So, it looks like it's romanized as and it looks like an N, honestly. So, first stroke, diagonal down. Second stroke, tail thing. And that's n. Be careful. You cannot take n and put like ah next to it. This does not mean na. This is ah or nga. Na. That doesn't really happen anywhere. Remember, na is that thing that's actually a deal. Na. This plus this does not equal this. Is used alone. It cannot be combined with other stuff to make a different sound. Like, it's its own thing. Just like na is a thing, and ah is a thing, is a thing. So that's the nasalized consonant n. Alright, so just like every time from last time, I will point at the thing, and I will say it, and then you have to write down the right thing. I'll give you a couple seconds to do so, and then we'll check to see how many you got. Okay, here we go, ready? Ma. Me. Moo. May. And mo. Alright, I hope you guys are getting 5 out of 5 so far. Let's move on to the next one with ya. Of course, we know that yi and ye don't exist. So, ya. You. Yo. Nicely done. Let's move to the R category. Ready? Da. Ni. Nu. Day. That's the bell. And do. Let's move to the W category. We know that there is only the first one there. So ready? Wa. And the nasalized consonant. This isn't really an N, it's more like an N with a star next to it. The nasalized consonant sound n. Again, I'm just kind of crap. There we go. Alright, you guys should tell me how you did in the comments. How many points you got out of this one. That'd be 5, 10, 15. Yeah, out of 15 points. Alright, so that's everything for this one. We have covered all of the basic hiragana. Next lesson will be how to do like the specific combinations of like hiragana with each other to make other sounds. For instance, you know that there are things like cho and yo that didn't show up just yet. That's because those are combinations of other things put together. So we'll do those next one, and then we'll probably have some like reading and writing practice. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.